Sarah lived in a quiet village called Greenhill. The village had bright painted houses, tarred roads and streetlights, but there were still some old places people feared. One of them was Rivershade, a wide river that flowed past the far end of the village. Every child had heard the same warning, never go near the river alone. But Sarah was full of ideas. She loved taking selfies and posting them online. One Saturday morning, she told her friends Michael and Rose, "I'm going to take the best selfie by Rivershade today." Michael looked worried. He pushed his glasses up and said, "Sarah, that place is cursed. Remember what the elders said." But Sarah only laughed and waved her phone. "Nothing will happen. I'll just snap one quick picture and come back." She set off alone, ignoring the strange feeling that tickled her stomach. The sun was bright and the sky was clear. What could possibly go wrong? Sarah walked along the main road, passing bright yellow houses and little children playing with old tires. After a while, she reached the dusty path that led to Rivershade. The tarred road ended, and the houses became fewer. Tall trees leaned over the narrow path, and strange bird cries echoed in the distance. Sarah felt a shiver, but she shook it off. "I'm not scared," she whispered to herself. As she walked, she noticed something odd. The deeper she went, the quieter it became. No birds chirping, no wind blowing. Even her own footsteps sounded loud. She clutched her phone tighter. Maybe Michael was right. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. But Sarah pushed on, determined to take the perfect selfie by the river. She didn't see the shadow that flickered across the path behind her. Finally, Sarah reached Rivershade. It was beautiful. The water sparkled like diamonds under the sun, and the trees bent over the water like green giants. Sarah found a flat rock near the edge and sat down. She held up her phone, smiling wide. "This will be the best picture ever," she said happily. She snapped one photo, then another, and another. She laughed as she flipped her long braids over her shoulder, making funny faces and peace signs. She even turned her back to the river and took a big wide selfie with the water behind her. The air smelled fresh and cool, and for a moment Sarah forgot all about the warnings. She was just a normal girl having fun, or so she thought. After taking a dozen pictures, Sarah sat on the rock and scrolled through them. She giggled at her silly poses. But then she stopped. In one of the pictures, something looked wrong. She zoomed in slowly. Right there, resting gently on her shoulder, was a pale hand, a hand that wasn't hers, a hand that didn't belong to anyone she could see. Sarah gasped and dropped her phone on the rock. Her heart pounded in her ears. She looked around quickly. There was no one there. Just the river, the trees, and the whisper of the wind. "It's just a trick of the light," she told herself, but deep inside she knew it wasn't. Sarah bent down and picked up her phone with shaking hands. She stared hard at the river. The surface was smooth like a mirror, and there, staring back at her, was her reflection, only it wasn't copying her movements. It stood smiling, waving slowly, even though Sarah wasn't moving at all. A chill ran down her spine. She backed away from the water, but her reflection stayed close to the edge, still smiling. "This isn't real," Sarah whispered, but the hairs on her arms stood straight up. She knew it was real. She had to get away from the river fast. Sarah turned and ran as fast as she could. The path that seemed easy before now looked strange. The trees seemed closer together. Shadows danced around her. It felt like something was. Branches scratched her arms, and sharp stones poked her feet through her sneakers. But she didn't stop. She just ran and ran, clutching her phone. When she finally saw the first houses of Greenhill Village, she cried out in relief, but she didn't notice the faint wet footprints following her all the way. Sarah burst into Michael's house, panting and crying. Michael and Rose were sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. "Sarah, what happened?" Rose shouted, jumping up. Sarah could barely speak. She just handed Michael her phone. Michael's eyes grew wide as he scrolled through the pictures. There's a hand, and, look, your reflection is moving differently." Rose covered her mouth in fear. "I told you not to go there," Michael said angrily. "We have to tell someone. This isn't normal." The three friends ran to the house of Old Man Peter, the village elder. He was sitting on his porch drinking tea when they arrived. Out of breath and scared, Sarah showed him the phone and explained everything. Old Man Peter's face turned very serious. "You children don't listen," he said in a low voice. "Long ago the river was cursed. A spirit was trapped there. It's lonely. It wants to trade places with someone. Sarah's mouth went dry. What do you mean? Trade places, she asked. Old Man Peter sighed. It means it wants to take your place. And you will become part of the river. Old Man Peter said they had one chance. You must return to the river before sunset and give back what you took. Sarah frowned. But I didn't take anything. Old Man Peter shook his head. The selfie. You captured its image, that was enough. Michael and Rose wanted to go with her, but the elder warned she must go alone, or the spirit will come for all of you. Sarah's hands trembled as she agreed. She had no choice. If she waited too long, she might vanish forever, just like others before her. With the sun dipping low, Sarah walked back to River Shade. This time she didn't smile, she didn't pose. She walked to the water's edge, knelt down and whispered, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take anything. She placed her phone carefully on the ground and backed away. The river bubbled for a moment. A cold wind blew across her face. She saw the smiling reflection fade away, and her real reflection return. Tears ran down her cheeks as she turned and ran home, promising herself she would never, ever ignore the village warnings again. Would you dare take a selfie there, yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. Like, share and subscribe for more real-life stories that will haunt you forever.